More significant severe weather is potentially on the way, with the Storm Prediction Center already issuing a 15% any severe risk on day 4. We're talking about what you need to know about the severe weather potential, so let's get right into the video. It's Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. We have a very large and highly populated area to be watching for severe weather today. The Storm Prediction Center has an area to be watching for severe weather, as there's a marginal risk, which is level 1 out of 5 in that green, going from parts of Texas all the way up into Maine. So this is a very large area that we're watching for potential severe weather today, as level 1 out of 5 marginal risk. Then we have a level 2 out of 5 slight risk going from Texas into the Great Lakes region, where we have a potential for severe weather today as well. So if we switch over to the tornado risk today is going to be pretty low. You can see back here in Texas, we could be dealing with maybe an isolated tornado or two. Not going to be that big of a concern. And then up here in the Great Lakes region, I wouldn't rule out an isolated tornado or two out here as well. So tornado risk today is going to be very low, but there is going to be a potential for an isolated tornado or two, as so you still got enough ingredients to support a potential for a brief spin-up tornado. Then we also do have potential for some damaging winds, as there's a 5% wind risk out here going from Texas to Maine, and then a 15% wind risk going from Dallas up to Columbus and into the Detroit, Michigan areas. Definitely be strapping down unsecured objects so they don't fly away, as there's going to be potential for some damaging winds today. There's also going to be potential for some hail today. Some smaller type of hail is going to be a potential within that 5%, which is that brown hail risk. And then we have this 15% hail risk down here in parts of Texas, where we can see potential hail up to Hennig size. So there's a hail conditional Tinsa Group 1 risk out there, which is those dashed lines. So definitely be parking your car in the garage if you're out there, as the hail down here can damage your vehicle. Wednesday, the severe weather threat will continue. It will not be that crazy though, but up here in parts of the northeast and mid-Atlantic for tomorrow on Wednesday, we do have a potential for some damaging winds and stuff like that. Mainly some damaging winds and hail chances up there in the mid-Atlantic, and then down here in western Texas and southeastern New Mexico, we will also have another severe weather threat down there for damaging winds and some hail. We can see large to very large hail out here if we get those storms to really mature and stuff. So yeah, definitely be aware for that, and park your car in the garage if you're out there tomorrow in those hail risks. I do think we don't have any tornado risks, but I do think there might be a very small tornado risk within this area out there in western Texas. And then on Thursday, we aren't really expecting anything, just some thunderstorms potentially out here within these areas towards the Gulf and up into parts of the southern plains. But on Friday, there is a severe weather threat out here in western Oklahoma and parts of the Texas Panhandle. So definitely watch on Friday. I don't think it's going to be that of an organized severe weather setup, but this is definitely something to be watching. Checking out the future radar, you can see that these are some of the storms that we could be expecting today. So you can see we're going to have some of these storms push through parts of southeastern Oklahoma and parts of Arkansas. Those are going to push through, mainly producing a chance for some damaging winds and some hail. I don't think there's going to be a big tornado threat with this. Then we're going to have some storms start popping out here in western Texas. These storms could try to produce a isolated tornado, but mainly just a hail threat and some damaging winds. It's going to be the main type of stuff. If you're out there in Houston, Texas, I'd definitely be staying prepared for potential severe weather. I think you guys will mainly get your severe weather chance around midnight, so 12 a.m. Eastern. So I think that's going to be the main threat down there for Houston, Texas, but you can see those storms are going to continue moving through those areas, and then out there for places south, it's like south and west of Houston, Texas. You guys could get another storm tomorrow morning. I wouldn't rule out maybe some damaging winds and maybe some small hail, but yeah, that's kind of what's going on out there. And you can see we're gonna have this line of storms out here in parts of Louisiana continue through tonight and this evening into tonight. So yeah. Here in parts of the Ohio Valley, you can see we're going to have some widely scattered severe storms out here, potentially producing a chance for some damaging winds, hail, maybe a isolated brief tornado threat up here in parts of the Great Lakes regions, but I don't think that's going to be anything too concerning. But you can see we're going to have some storms push through those areas, potentially producing some damaging winds and hail up there. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big of a concern, though, as you can see right here, as those storms kind of push through. So, yeah, this is what it could look like at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. So what it could look like at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then 10 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, we're going to have some storms push through some of those areas. And you see the time at the bottom of your screen. It's like right here. So, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be what we could be expecting tonight up here, today and tonight up here in the Ohio Valley. Now, the main reason our tornado risk is low today is because we don't have enough instability out there, as you can see right here. You can see that we do have a decent amount of instability, but it's not like like a crazy amount. So yeah, but you can see this is Cape. This is basically storm fuel. So yeah, just not a crazy amount of storm fuel. And we don't have like the best ingredients to support a big severe weather outbreak. Another thing that we look at to look for potential strong tornadoes and stuff like that is significant tornado parameter. You can see here we don't have that very high values of that today. And then for Wednesday, you can see out here in parts of the Mid-Atlantic, we could have a few storms out there in those areas, potentially producing some damaging winds and hail. And this is what it could look like at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. This is what it could look like at 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow right here. So, yeah, tomorrow is probably not going to be that crazy either. I don't think I'd rule out maybe a brief spin-up tornado out there in southeastern Pennsylvania tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. So, yeah. I wouldn't even rule out a storm in southern Ohio tomorrow on Wednesday, having a chance to produce some damaging winds, hail, and maybe even a brief spin-up tornado. And then down here in Texas, tomorrow on Wednesday, where we got the other severe risk, you can see that we're going to have some storms pop up out there. I think around Odessa, Texas is going to be where we got to be watching maybe for an isolated tornado. The Storm Prediction Center doesn't have a tornado risk outline, but I think that could change here. But see, this is some of the storms that could be seen out there tomorrow on Wednesday in western Texas. Well, it could look at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then 9 p.m. Eastern out there. So the storms will continue, and then they'll kind of die out as we get into the early morning hours of Thursday, and they'll kind of weaken. You can see here for tomorrow on Wednesday, you can see that we got some storm fuel up here in the Mid-Atlantic, and then you got some storm fuel out there in western Texas, which is going to help those storms it's pretty much just storm fuel, so it's going to help those storms get mature and everything like that. Okay, here's the GFS model. This is just to give you a look at what Friday could look like here. See, we're going to have some storms develop out there in parts of Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma. I would expect this risk to potentially grow in size. Yeah, I think that risk will probably grow a little bit, and you can see some of those storms that we'll see out there potentially on Friday. And then if we switch over to CAPE here, which stands for Convective Available Potential Energy, this is the storm fuel again. You can see that we're going to have some storm fuel out there that I think that could support a chance for maybe an isolated tornado or two, some damaging winds, and then some hail. So definitely watch on Friday. Now we're going to have an excessive rainfall threat with these severe weather events, as you can see here. Today we could be expecting a potential for some flooding all the way from parts of Texas into the Ohio Valley, so be aware for that through today. Some excessive rainfall is going to be a potential. And then for tomorrow on Wednesday, we could have another excessive rainfall chance from the Mid-Atlantic all the way up into parts of the Southern Plains. So that's also something to be watching for tomorrow on Wednesday. And then Thursday, another excessive rainfall chance out here that we got to be watching on Thursday. And then Friday, another one out here in parts of Oklahoma, and then another one going from parts of Texas all the way up into the Ohio Valley. And then another one on Saturday, one up here in parts of the Mid-Atlantic, and then another one down here towards the south. We're going to have some excessive rainfall in those areas over the next few days, so definitely be aware for some flooding, especially if you're in those low-lying areas, and turn around, don't drown when encountering flooded roadways. Now, we have been talking about the severe weather a lot, but let's start talking about some of the temperatures. See here that it's going to be pretty warm out here. It's going to, we had a big heat dome set up out here, parts of the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic, a big heat dome out there. But we're going to have some cooler air that's going to be making its way in as the cold front is going to be pushing through. It's going to push all that warm air out, and then we're going to have more cold air that is going to be coming in. As you can see right here, it's not going to be cold, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be cooler. So, yeah, it's going to cool off a little bit for a while here, and then it's going to warm back up potentially again with some warm air trying to come together again. So, yeah, I think it should start getting cold on Wednesday, which is tomorrow out there in parts of the Great Lakes region in the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. So I think it should start getting cooler out there, and I think it might start warming up again maybe on May 25th and stuff like that. Here's where to expect some above normal temperatures out here. If you're inside these red, orange or red areas, you guys could be seeing above normal temperatures, as you can see right there. Warmer out there, and if you guys are expecting like 80 degrees to 90 degrees, definitely make sure you're staying hydrated out there. These warmer temperatures, there's some good news with them, okay? We're going to get some pretty nice weather today out here towards the eastern half of the United States, and then some pretty nice weather towards the western half of the United States. And unfortunately, in the middle, it's probably not going to be that nice. And that's pretty much all I got for you in today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure you're clicking that notification bell. And definitely stay tuned, as I do have potential to go live today if things get crazy. So click that notification bell, stay weather aware, and I will see you in the next weather update video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.